What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So apparently, Liv Morgan is single now, okay? For those that it matters to. For me, I personally do not care. I don't know why it's been blowing up so much online, because breaking up with somebody is a pretty normal part of life. I guess it's a thing now. We'll talk about that. But also, apparently, the person I like to call the Super Saiyan Pastor, Cody Rhodes, he may have hit us with the hezzy when it comes to WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. We'll talk about that in a little bit more. But before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Bryan Danielson needs neck surgery, Stone Cold Steve Austin is never wrestling again, Rikishi shares his thoughts on the new Bloodline, Liv Morgan reveals she has broken up with Bo Dallas, Cody Rhodes talks when he learned of the changes to his WrestleMania match, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Bryan Danielson needs neck surgery. On top of today's news is a terrible revelation from AEW star Bryan Danielson, as he's recently informed fans he needs neck surgery. This follows an angle where he and FTR's Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood were injured after their 18th May collision bout against The Righteous and Lance Archer. Danielson told fans on X, "Somebody paid a price to take out FTR, to take me out before Anarchy in the arena. We know exactly who it is. No, I hurt my neck real bad, and then I'm wrestling with Ospreay. I go to give him a Frankenstein off the top rope. I've never had this happen to me. Dude lands right on his feet, I go straight down on my head, and then later in the match, right before he pins me, he hits me with a storm driver. I got shooting pains down my arm, I'm at home and I have to go get MRIs. I have a compression of the nerve root at C6, C7, and T1.
Jeez,
the American
man, that is crazy. And the interesting part is, because I watched Dynasty live, I remember seeing that Frankensteiner, I was like, that looks, it made every part of my body cringe, because it just looked painful. But he kept going, so I was like, all right, it must not be that bad. But at the end of the match, when I saw how Bryan Danielson looked injured and how Will Ospreay was visibly concerned about him, just something in me just told me like something bad happened at that moment. Now, most people were saying, oh, it's just a work. Maybe they're just playing around. Maybe it's just them acting and they're selling it out to the fans. That's what wrestling is all about. And I was like, all right, that could be the case. But a part of me was like, there had to be something happening here, because the way he landed on his head, especially someone like Bryan Danielson, who's had previous neck injuries, for me, it's hard to see that stuff happen to him. It's crazy.
Dragon is no stranger to injuries, and at one point retired from the squared circle due to what was believed to be concussion-related issues. While Bryan was eventually able to return to wrestling, he suffered several injuries during his run in AEW, leading to questions about how much his body can take. According to Danielson, "I've got this shooting pain that's running down my arm that won't go away. The doctor is telling me that pretty soon I'm gonna have surgery. The only way I can hold out is if I can keep the strength in my right hand. Right now it's still there. I have the shooting pain, but I've still got the strength. So I plan on staying at home, recovering, and doing physical therapy." Danielson then cut a fiery promo on the New Elite, blasting them for their laziness and hypocrisy, questioning how they could take out Tony Khan and Kenny Omega, and stated how he knows he can't stay at home while the Young Bucks and their allies destroy AEW. He vowed to make it to Double or Nothing for the Anarchy in the arena match, regardless of the risks. Some fans are concerned about Daniel's physical condition following these statements, especially in light of his previous serious injuries, so much that they fear that Danielson might be seriously injured or worse in the ring. What do you guys think?
Jeez.
Should Danielson consider retiring rather than risking further injuries? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks.
So, to me, when it comes to this, now, first and foremost, he doesn't know me. I don't know him. I'm not his parent. I'm not his doctor. I'm not whatever the higher power he talks to, Gaia, or the nature gods or whatever. I'm not those people. I can't tell him what to do. But just from the perspective of a fan and a person who considered him to be one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and knowing that he had a previous neck surgery in WWE, and now the doctors are saying he might have another one, and that he's so injury prone, it seemed like, I would like it if he skipped the Anarchy in the arena match. At least just skip that and just see where he is after the fact. Now, from what we see, and if you know anything about Bryan Danielson in the past, he's not just going to give up like that. He's going to find a way to get himself back into the ring, which is very commendable. But when it comes to neck stuff, bro, to me, I wish he would hold out, but what can we do, man? He's a grown man. He's going to do what he want to do.
Next up, Liv Morgan has broken up with Bo Dallas. And whilst there's been speculation that Liv Morgan was in a relationship with Bo Dallas, well, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. On a recent edition of the Open Thoughts podcast, the former WWE SmackDown Women's Champion reveals that she is now currently single. I'm single. I feel like it's like, what are your priorities? Right now, my priorities are not to date, and it's the best I can be. I know I'm a little bit selfish with my time right now, and I don't want to give you my time and take away from me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would be happy with this news. Next up,
Cody Rhodes. Why would you be happy about that, man? Because you don't even know what happened and how they broke up. You don't know how this is affecting Bo Dallas. You don't know what's going on. Why would somebody be happy that someone broke up? Unless, because I've seen what people are doing online, being weird as usual. And first and foremost, I'm scared of what her DMs look like right now. I'm sure her DMs are nasty, okay? Especially on X, Twitter. People on there don't care. But I've seen what people are posting on there. And I get it, guys. I get that you want to make remarks and comments and compliments to an attractive woman. But some of you guys are getting a little bit too much. And that's just for me. That's just me. I don't know. I can't see myself doing that stuff. Like when people go on social media and they see a picture of a woman and they always comment on every one of their photos, oh my God, you're beautiful. Oh my God. For me, it just makes me want to throw up, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. So I've seen people doing that when it comes to Liv Morgan and even saying some crazy stuff about her. Those people got to calm down too. But it's just... It's Liv Morgan, okay, guys, relax. It's not like any of us really have a chance like that to go after Liv Morgan, so just chill out a little bit, okay? And even if you did, you think she's not gonna see what you've been tweeting about her before? I'm just saying, man, don't take it too far.
Rhodes talks when he learned of changes to his WrestleMania match. Cody Rhodes' victory at the 2024 Royal Rumble was a big win for the American Nightmare, as it appeared that he was on the fast track to getting his WrestleMania rematch against undisputed champion Roman Reigns. However, as fans saw, it looked like The Rock was going to take Cody's spot, but now Cody is sharing when he learned when he was going to get his rematch against Roman at Mania. I found out the possibility of The Rock versus Roman Reigns the day of the Royal Rumble, and I had to leave that room head up and make sure no one knew what could possibly happen, and probably one of the more difficult days I've had in the wrestling business. But also, how could you complain when you're winning the Royal Rumble? When you're pointing at the sign and over 20,000 people in Tampa, it was such a high, such a low. While the change of plan was a complete letdown, Cody shared how he dealt with things. I'll say this about the month leading up to WrestleMania 40. You try to create these ideal situations for yourself as an athlete, and just couldn't catch a break when it came to the ideal circumstance. Cody's career has been one where he's had to create his own opportunities, take risks, and seize a moment. Rhodes revealed that despite the adversity, he had a good feeling about how things would play out. I was just talking to Brandy about this morning, but my bus a few days before WrestleMania becomes a giant fireball out of the parking lot. I had to bring in a new bus for me. I'm sleeping in a bunk that was for a band. I was not going to be presented with the ideal circumstances. I had given in to that and conceded that before WrestleMania because I just had this feeling, even all the way back to the Royal Rumble, I had this feeling that it was going to work out. Indeed, everything did work out, and Cody's dream of becoming world champion in the WWE finally came true after years of rebuilding himself on the indie circuit and dealing with the adversity upon his WWE return. This included the pectoral injury that sidelined him for months. Next up, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And that's the thing too, like, that's why I call him the Super Saiyan Pastor. The guy is always positive when it comes to this stuff. Maybe he's a little too political for some of you guys, and if you guys feel that way, I get it. But you can tell when he announced that he was going to allow The Rock to take his spot at WrestleMania, in that entire segment, you can see that he was dying on the inside. Like, he didn't look too happy about that decision. I thought it was just acting, but now when I go back and watch it, you can tell he did not like that decision at all.
Austin never wrestling again. Now, many fans were pleasantly surprised when the Texas Rattlesnake battled Kevin Owens in the main event of Night 1 at WrestleMania 38, defeating Kevin Owens in a well-received no-holds-barred match. Since then, fans have been curious as to whether they may see Austin back for one more match. While rumor has it that WWE was interested in bringing him in for WrestleMania 39, a scenario Austin claims couldn't happen due to prior obligations, there was reportedly offers for him to appear at this year's Showcase of the Immortals, with speculation he would appear during the Cody Rhodes match against Roman Reigns. And while we don't know the reason why, Jim Ross speculated I would say cash had a major role. While Austin would be a welcome addition to any WWE event, fans shouldn't get their hopes up, especially after comments Austin made during a recent biography episode on A&E. I walked away, I'm happy with what I did. There are a few people who have done more and lasted more, but I had a good career and I'm happy with it. I have nothing to prove to anyone. Although Austin had to retire at a relatively young age of 38, he's done very well for himself outside wrestling ever since then, and there's no denying he had a great send-off at WrestleMania 38 with his match against Kevin Owens. Not to mention Night 2 at WrestleMania 38 when he delivered a stunner to Vince McMahon.
That was
probably the worst stunner in history.
Yes.
Next up,
yes. If he's just happy, if he's happy with what he did in his career, that's all that matters. Just ride into the sunset, Austin. You created amazing moments, created wrestling fans out of most of us. So you did what you need to do. He doesn't doesn't need to come back. And Kevin Owens had that moment at WrestleMania 38. Just let him keep that moment for him and just move on. I think it's great for him just to walk away. I'd rather see people leave wrestling healthy than to try to come back and impress the fans. You hear that, Ric Flair? Let it go, bro. Let it go.
Rikishi shares his thoughts on the new Bloodline. And how does Rikishi feel about the new version of the Bloodline, specifically the addition of Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa? During a recent episode of his podcast, Rikishi Fatu off the top rope, he discussed the new members as well as where things seem to be headed. Those two kids, Tama and his brother Tongaloa, they're related to the family, as far as with Uncle Haku and so forth. Some WWE fans were surprised to see Tama and Tonga appear before Solo's brother Jacob Fatu. However, their debuts were a fun swerve that suggested there are plenty of surprises coming with this new version of the Bloodline. Rikishi praised both superstars' work and said how happy he is to finally see them in WWE. As for how the storyline is progressing, he remarked, "To be able to see them come and not just go right into an angle, they're only put there for the simple fact that they belong there. Nothing else. Nothing more. You got Roman that's out of the picture now. Jimmy's out of the picture now. Now here comes Solo and his crew, what they like to call the Bloodline 2.0. The brothers Tama and Tongaloa, they're doing a great job. They both look great, they look fresh. So nice to see fresh faces out there, being involved in the Bloodline and family and that." As we reported yesterday, some recent comments from Rikishi suggest he may finally join the Bloodline saga. As fans speculate whether things are leading to a war between Solo's version of the Bloodline and the group's original members of Roman Reigns and the Usos, the big question is, who's Rikishi siding with? Next up, did WWE allow RVD to work AEW events? Now, this has been on fans' minds ever since the Whole Effin' Show appeared in AEW, despite previous plans to appear at WrestleMania. The recent discussion of whether Wendy Richter, who is believed to be under a WWE Legends contract, would appear in AEW to respond to AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm's recent trash talking seems to depend on RVD's status and whether he needs WWE's permission to appear in AEW. Fightful Select is reporting, Rob Van Dam implied last year that he had WWE's blessing to make AEW appearances, but it's unknown if he's actively under a WWE Legends deal himself, as that usually prevents such from happening. As for former WWF Women's Champion Wendy Richter, Fightful Select pointed out that Wendy is under a WWE Legends deal, which makes an AEW appearance highly unlikely. Next up, Jon Moxley trashes Twitter.
Oh, I saw
some recent
this.
Comments from AEW star Jon Moxley clarify how he feels about X, aka Twitter. The current IWGP World Heavyweight Champ and multiple-time AEW World Heavyweight Champion appeared on AEW's YouTube program telling viewers, "I don't like Twitter at all. It's hard to escape it. I feel like Twitter particularly brings the worst out of everyone. It's the worst way for people to interact. It's terrible. Everyone should just drop it. I will keep it for emergencies. My advice to the entire world would be, get off that thing. Take it off your phone. Throw it in the garbage. We don't need Twitter." Do you guys agree with Moxley? And finally, an AEW couple...
You know, to be honest with you, that's the most Jon Moxley thing to ever be said. If he were to say he liked Twitter, I'll be highly disappointed. But he kind of has a point. I mean, Twitter has its moments, but at the same time, I go in, I tweet, and I go John Cena. I go in, tweet, I disappear, because a lot of the stuff that people talk about on there is usually rage baiting, or people just mad about random stuff like, "Oh my God, I can't believe my hamburger has an extra burger on it." The next moment, "I can't believe this milkshake." I'm like, dude, how are you mad at everything that's happening for your entire life? Like, what is going on? Like, get off Twitter, go see a therapist. Like, that's just how I feel. But that's just how really Twitter is. Just a bunch of people just trying to be the most witty, or try to be the most rage baity, or try to be the most angry, or whatever the case may be. You have some people up there that aren't like that, but for the most case, that's what you're going to see. And if you can't deal with those type of things, you're going to be like Jon Moxley. You're not going to want to be on there. But ultimately, Jon Moxley don't like people at all. So, you know, when you go on social media, the point of that is to be social, so that he's antisocial, and so it makes no sense for him to be on there. But I can kind of see where he's coming from.
Tie the knot. And last but not least, congrats to AEW wrestlers Ruby Soho and Angela Parker on their recent nuptials. The couple who are expecting their first child have recently tied the knot, with fellow grappler John Silver tweeting a picture of them along with this message. Congrats to the new beautiful couple. A report from PW Insider states that the couple was married on 19th May somewhere in Ohio. We send our best wishes to the new couple as they embark on their married life. But there you have it, folks. The wildest news stories and rumors you know.
Alright, that's cool. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Gotta head to work. So thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a good day.